Change.
Progress. Consciousness.
Persistence.
Unity.
Revolution. People. Energy. Unity.
Overthrow.
Fraternity.
The university is a jungle full of diversity.
It is a whole different environment, different from the city.
From the day we arrive on the planet.
We have our own microclimate, species, and geography.
Then can ever be seen. More to do.
In the strike, this environment intensified itself.
There's far too much to take in here.
Welcome to a new video. Hi!
Never be
salvajes que a su paso levantan la tormenta, el huracán. Sutil colibrí, imponente ballena, mágico manatí y feroz como pantera.
en movimiento, una familia de jaguares que rompe el pavimento con la fuerza del águila que avanza, representando con garra la esperanza. Como un león, rugir muy duro y en cada calle con arte pintar cada muro. Libre como un animal, libre como un animal, libre como un animal, 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 animal.
The student movement gave an amazing performance outside, but it had a lot of preparation and issues that were inside of this jungle in the university.
In our way to find the truth about the successes of 2018 in this land, we found a radio species that agreed to tell us his point of view. These species tend to be aggressive with other species at the time that tries to defend others.
Tell us, how did you feel in the strike? I felt sucked. We got up very early every day. It was a mess. Assemblies and assemblies, but nothing about politics. They were just quiet discussions. The good thing was that the university marched together to defend what is of it. But I would have preferred to continue the strike, because some of the agreements are not good, and the association did everything in its favor. If we had continued the strike, many of the requests could be solved, and now we are tired and without desire to continue fighting. What was the reason to participate actively in the strike? I think that mobilize the people can make value in their rights, and doing pressure in the student movement leads to the strike. Some of the reasons to take part were not seeing good food and buildings or spaces well constructed. And see, the university without budget makes me feel that's falling apart. In conclusion, university is not fulfilling its role. What do you think about the student movement? It needs to be a movement of the people for the people, with clear purposes, and it needs to be open-minded to discuss actively and without discrimination. How do you feel about fighting with the smack? Obviously it's terrifying, but that fear became rage that gave us energy to keep fighting. How do you prepare to fight? You don't need to be prepared. You only need the desire to fight for justice in every moment. You get there and they give you instructions in the practice. It's all about what do you want to do.
And now we have found another species involved in the 2018 conflict. It is called Ismail. We feel lucky because we could keep contact with him and could make some questions that we hope can clear some important aspects.
How did you feel in the strike? There were many calls and we were constantly alert to fulfill the duty. There came a point where we got used to it. We already knew what the process was. What was the reason to participate actively in the strike? It's my job, that's the reason of my training. Sometimes one would not like to go, but duty calls. What do you think about the student movement? I think it's real and they have good intentions, but I don't know too much about it. How do you feel about fighting with the capuchos or students? For me, it was the simplest thing. It was child's play. Sometimes I didn't know if I was facing the bad guy, but I had to protect the others. How do you prepare to fight? Only the knowledge of the occupation was needed, to know how to use the tools, to defend oneself with the shields, and not to exceed the distance. It was nothing special. We need to maintain the order.
Here, we see that they take their time to do productive things that help in the fighting situation they are living. They use creative tools to help themselves and visualize the justice they ask for. Now, we have arrived to a land really different and amazing because of the diversity that we find here. As you can see, our researchers could find the different species that interact in this space. Here, they get out of control. They do some rituals of mating and test their physical and psychological skills. Our researchers arrived there to see how the species interact. There is music, dances, food, and joy. In this type of meeting, they share a miracle drink that gave them force and energy. It is a drink made with vanilla and water, and it is the perfect idea to get together and share. This is a space of spreading. Lots of species use this to relieve stress during the strike and also to have fun. They drink soft beverages and practice exotic movements. We have to take into account that in this habitat they also learn in groups some themes of housing and more. They take their classes in the streets in order to visualize the problems to other species. Also, they show how the process of learning in the environment is. In this environment of wildlife, we find different species in its natural habitat, using weapons for its defense. Here you can see one of them. It's called capuchos. They are trying to get defended the university of the other species that is shown right now. The snakes. They use projectiles to trigger their predator, and their clothing helps them in their defense work. Now you can see the ritual that they keep right now. Now, as you can see, it's about to start a very weird ritual. It is called mayhem, and in Spanish it is called tropel.
Afraid
The oasis is the perfect place to refresh and find calm. In this case, we see a meeting of several animal species trying to reach an agreement. In this specific stage between the government and the students, no one gives his arm to twist and are always on the lookout. Some of the agreements took their time to be done, but they are being forgotten in these last 6 months. If we take into account that basic text and Serpilopaga agreements are not being enforced.
To be aware of this story, don't forget to keep watching the news and keep searching for information to keep you informed about the agreement that is not being respected.
However, keep on the road with us and give us a power. Follow us to survive in this jungle.
We hope you feel welcome in this animal kingdom.
Bye!